Hi, Aries. This is your homework family reading for September. Let me hit the bell. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, before I get into all of the information for Aries, yes, this is Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aries signs. But if you've been following me, you watch the videos, you're used to me doing what I call the homework family readings, and I do them from the 1st to the 15th, and then from the 15th to the last day of the month. I am slamming it all into one video right now for September, and I know I'm running a little late. I'm trying to get them out as quick as possible. I've had some family emergency situations that were going on. It's pushed me back. But with that being said, I'm trying to get them all out for September as quick as possible. And I'm telling you this because what Spirit looks like they have me, feels like I'm being redirected for the month of October, is to start doing still 2 videos a month, but instead of doing, my whatever Spirit is giving me as in guidance, astrology, and the tarot all in one video. It seems like they're wanting me to make shorter, faster videos of one is tarot, one is astrology for each sign, and that way I can get in and out of your life and make it easier for you. Now, I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can because I did get a new phone, and I'm not quite sure when the shut-off time is. I shoot everything from the phone, so I'm going to try to make sure I get it all on one take, and I'm going to work quickly here. Spirit is telling me right off the bat, there is some frustration of speaking from your heart outwardly. And it's because it's subconscious energies that are coming up. Some of you definitely have a Scorpio, a Pisces of significance in your life, or it could possibly be a Virgo and a Cancer of significance in your life. It is definitely like what I say in the hidden self. It's like that 12th house issues that might be going on. It's subconscious, it's hidden from the self, it's just skeletons in the closet, stuff you don't really want to talk about, and it's stuff that's coming up that you have to talk about, you have to communicate. But Spirit is telling me you need to stand your ground, but it's not in areas of what you really want to stand your ground in. You're really not comfortable in this area, and yeah, they're saying stand your ground because you don't need to be moving away from what it is that's right from you. And you don't need to be pushed around because somebody's trying to, more or less. This is, you're the alpha. You're the beginning. You're very hot-headed emotionally. But this is definitely a time that I'm being told you need to stand your ground. But it is dealing with material instinct with some reason that's going behind it. And I think the reasoning in your head from the heart to the head is what's getting kind of clogged up and causing a problem, because I'm feeling issues it's coming from the heart to the head, but I'm feeling issues that are actually coming in between that third chakra. Not third, the third eye. It's the way I have it wrote. Is the third eye chakra and the throat chakra. And it's definitely, I would say it's definitely a Scorpio in some cases. Anything else? Yeah, it's about setting proper boundaries with this person and having proper communication as you have these boundaries. Yeah, heart, throat, third eye. Let me double check something real fast. It's just the way it works for me. I have all my notes. I'm also being told, for some of you, I think there's a significant something. I'm just being given the number 15. And I don't know why. I just know I'm being given the number 15 for some of you. Some of you are having issues because of bitterness or blame, and it's making you overwhelmed and possibly even very stubborn or burdened with the situation, and inflexible is what I'm being. But they're saying you need to speak your truth, communicate, and express your truths. Is that it for that? Some of you are afraid of what you're going to hear, but Spirit's saying it doesn't matter. It still needs to be said. It still needs to be, out in the air, and it needs to be, and you need to stand your ground and bring it up. And I'm being given death. I don't know if that means that there's a death in the family or if that means it's the end of a cycle. It's the end of something. Because when death shows up, usually it's a form of transformation. So that's what they're giving me is death. But see, they're also giving me, in some cases, with healing and joint resources. So it may be an end of a cycle. I don't know. All right, when I get into astrology for you, this is, like I said, for September. Before I get into all my notes on September, I was saying in astrology that August ended August, and we came into the beginning of September. Up until September 7th, you have Othala in the astrology. Othala is not actually something that people speak about in astrology because it's a rune, but it's when I'm seeing the runes show up in astrology, I know that there's a reason for that. This is also speaking of your sacred space and finding your sacred space. However, the Othala starts to fade on the 7th, but the top half of Othala is still there all month long, which is actually showing you where it's not. Where you're having problems connecting with that sacred energy, and it's showing you where it's not by having the T-square that's not going away all month. Now, with that being said, that T-square is going from Pisces to Virgo and up into Jupiter. And you got a whole lot of Virgo going on this month. You've got the Sun, Mercury, Juno, Mars, and Venus, all in Virgo. You cannot drink mommy's milk. All in Virgo. And for you, this is, you're the universal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the universal 6th house. This is speaking of your daily routines. But here's the thing. A lot of people aren't actually speaking about this. Virgo is no longer the same. Virgo is no longer the same, and it's going to keep twitching or tweaking how it shifts and changes. And that's because, see, the regular star moved into Virgo. For you, this is your daily routines, your daily mundane tasks. This is where your daily routines, your daily habits all take place from the time you get up, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you comb your hair, you take a shower, all that good stuff. You go out, you do your work, da-da-da-da-da. But it's your diet and it's your health care as well. And Virgo is taking a new level because the regular star has moved in. It moved in a while back, but the way Spirit is giving me is it's kind of been like in shadow. And you've got to understand the regular star is going to be there for like 500 years, okay? I mean, we have never seen the regular star in Virgo. So it's putting a whole new energy into what Virgo is about. And Virgo is all about where we're in service. So where we're in service, we're just going to start off with being in service to ourselves so that we can properly and healthy be in service to the rest of the world. Because Virgo has been able to be the organizer, the detail-oriented person, more or less, or the part of you, the detail organizer. It's the troubleshooter. It's health, diet. It's the lie detector. But it's been more logical in its thinking. Grounded, mature, logical. Let's get to the point. And with the regular star coming in and coming kind of out of that shadow energy, this is giving it a whole new feel. And Virgo itself is starting to change. So are Virgos. They're starting to come into that same person of themselves, but with a much deeper depth of who and what they are. Because the regular star is considered the lion's heart. And this is what I was talking about during that whole Lionsgate. The lion is handing its heart, its scepter, its magic over to Virgo. And it's already been given to it, but it was kind of like it was not working. It was in shadow. We weren't really looking at stuff. And it's now shifting over so that all of those detail-oriented things, the organizer, the troubleshooter, the perfectionist, the anal retentive perfectionist from within, the health, the diet. Remember, what you consume is your food, your drink, but it's also energy, people, places, and things. So Virgo is taking a whole new look at this from a different soulful point of view. As in, does it resonate with my daily routines, my daily lifestyle, as into something that's good and healthy for me, soulfully? And then go into its organization. It's changing the way it does it. And that's never going to change. Regular star just moved in. It's at 0 degrees, and it ain't even going to get to 1 degree, technically, for like 60 freaking years. So I'm saying this is a long time coming. This energy is just now starting to illuminate Virgo. So your rules, your patterns, your routines, what you consume on a daily basis, food and energy, is having a problem with your universal 12th house, with what you still have in your subconscious, what you aren't healing from the subconscious, those hidden unconscious depths of self and debts to self. It is, where the self-sacrifice has been made, where the karmic debts were created. It's the self-undoing, but it's where grief, sorrow, shame, and blame hide. It's our skeletons in the closet. Something about your routines is intentionally keeping those skeletons in the closet and keeping them from healing. And then it's speaking directly to that 9th house in Sagittarius with the higher self. And the higher self is saying, no, we're not doing this anymore. Period. We're not doing this anymore. We're rising above this, and it's time that you acknowledge what we have to put to bed. And that is part of how you're going to find that sacred space, by understanding what the higher self is going, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's time to put this to bed and put the debts behind us. So the healing has to be made. But there's something about the routines, the daily tasks, what you consume, people, places, things that are continuously making it recycle in a bad way. And I feel like this is why I'm being told to mark your territory. You don't want to recycle another cycle. You want to start a new cycle. And this is part of finding your sacred space, is stepping out of the uncomfortable, stepping out of the comfortable zone and into the uncomfortable, into the danger zone, so to speak. Because I feel like it's going after a new passion, a new desire, a new something, and allowing that to happen. Now, that energy is going to be there all month. But what you do have also going on for the month of September is you have the full moon, which is taking place in Pisces, with a void, of course, to Aries. Everybody's going to be calling it Aries, I believe. But their full moon is going to be on the 14th. And I'm calling it the void, of course, because the day before the full moon, the day of the full moon, it is in Pisces for most of the time. It isn't until the evening it actually moves into Aries. Okay? So it's going to be in that universal 12th house, illuminating things from that unconsciousness. Trying to go, hey, look at me. Acknowledge me. I need to get fixed. I need to get healed. I need to be brought to the surface. You need to acknowledge it. And then we're going to move into Aries and start a brand new cycle. Because if you release it, surrender it, let it go, and you truly work with it, it is a brand new cycle, because you are Aries. So you stay in the universal house. On the very same day, the 14th, the full moon, you also have Mercury and Venus moving into Libra. For you, this is the universal 7th house. All right, the universal 7th house still has Haumea and Make in it. Okay? This is speaking to you of marriage, partnerships, business contracts. It is relationships, divorces, separations, lawsuits. It's even your open enemies. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with, from your friends, your families, your foes, from your children and your loved ones, to your spouse, your exes, okay? And then your relationships, you're working in relationships. You even have a relationship with money. When you have no money, you know about your relationship with that lack of money, okay? So everything you care about, you have a relationship with. How Maya and make are there. This is your collective consciousness in this relationship zone, bringing definitely consciousness to the truths of these relationships. And then it's also got Haumea going, are you able to rise up out of the murky swamp and into the light? Because the only thing that's keeping you in the swamp and from blooming, because make is the lotus flower. The only thing that's keeping you from blooming out of that swamp is you. You're a lotus flower. It's time to bloom, come up out of the swamp by realizing the consciousness of the truth of the relationships. And that's all that's actually in Libra at the moment. I will take a look and see if anything special is going on. Like I said, for some reason I'm also being told 15. I don't know if that's an astrology thing. I just know I'm being told 15. You have on the 18th, you have Saturn, which is going direct. Saturn is your universal 10th house. It is your honor, your reputation, your prestige, your career, your financial success, your financial foundation. It is the foundation of the outer community and those larger groups that hold the authority and the responsibility within life. Okay, but in this area is also, for some of you, this is speaking of travel that's going to be happening. And for some of you, this is speaking to you about opening up and speaking up about your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your ambitions in this area. Now, Saturn is going direct on the 18th. So prior to the 18th, the energy is like, because Saturn is going, I need you to get right with what's sacred to you and what's important to you. So on the 18th, when I go direct, I can start figuring out how to actually set the proper rules, walls, boundaries, withholdings, limitations, no, yes, let's go, shift, do this, so that it starts supporting what you actually soulfully desire in the outer community of that honor, prestige, financial career, financial success. Some of this will bring traveling to you, like I said, but it's going to be dealing with the authority and the responsibility of that outer community. And is it connecting soulfully with you? Because that has everything to do with how Saturn in Capricorn is wanting to set the rules, walls, and boundaries, to shift them. Problem is Saturn's sitting on top of the South Node, so there's something there automatically that needs to change because you've gotten incredibly freaking good at it, but it's not good for you anymore. It's like having a job that's just... I go to work to go there, and I make money to go there, but I have no desire to do it anymore. I have no desire to see the people. I have no desire to do any of it. I'm just going through the motions because I need money. And this is what I'm talking about. It's trying to get you out of that energy. There's something you've gotten incredibly good at within that outer community, possibly the job, and it's time to start looking into what's something in that outer community that's going to soulfully connect with you more, because it's about getting away from what don't serve you anymore by setting the new rules, walls, and boundaries so that it has to start serving you. Okay, with that being said, you also have on the 23rd, you have the sun moving into Libra, and then on the 28th, you have the new moon in Libra. So all of this energy is coming into Libra. It's all coming into these relationships. Okay, and like I said, you're having relationships and you're having a lot of information going on with the community outside, the authority outside, and the relationships, and what's the truths within them. What is the rules within them is what a lot of this is talking about. And it's finding growth of getting to a depth of what you are, and don't be pushed around, because I keep being told, mark your territory, stand your ground, don't move, is what I'm being given a lot of. They're giving me have prestige with what you have prestige and honor. within the professional, maybe not even I just feel like take honor in who you are. Take honor in who you are, and no, I'm not going to budge. This is what I want. This is what I need. And I feel like this is what I'm being given for you. Now, obviously, we've been having this for the last couple of months. You've got the North Node, you've got Saturn, and you've got, not getting along with the 4th house. The 10th house and the 4th house is not getting along. This, again, is saying there's something here that's keeping you from reincarnating who you are because you're not tapping in, or you're not fully following, listening to your intuition, your growth of your inner emotional security. You're not letting that karmic debt get paid, because this is the house of home. And you still have the Sirius star with the North Star saying if you want to move forward in life, you have to get right with home. This is home. Inner emotional security with your true roots of your true self, and figure out that security emotionally that makes you feel good by finding what's sacred to you. Then making the outer world work with that. Okay? And this is not getting along because it's a difficult thing, because the North Node and the South Node are all about moving forward or staying where you're at. And that's why it's a difficult thing for you. You do have a lot of positive energies actually coming in, mainly across a lot of energy in general. Some of it's positive, some of it's difficult, coming in across the whole midhaven in the top half of the chart. This is where you're getting into your self-motivation, your action-oriented self, your self-assertive self, but dealing within those relationships, like I said, of the outer world, and your utmost, top, most important things to you, your top priorities in that material world, of how you're going to be able to create that inner emotional security, to tap into the fire of self, is definitely what you're going to be dealing with more this month. Now, there is, let me jump out of here because the way I happen to have it, let me see, wait. Yeah, I don't see anything special. On the 15th, what Spirit was saying, you have the Moon and Chiron in Aries, your sign, speaking directly over to Libra. Once they've moved into Libra, Mercury and Venus in that universal 12th house, with that collective consciousness of those relationships, and speaking directly to your self-awareness, to your physical body, to your spiritual, your personality, your physical body, your awareness, your view of life, your ID, your image, your very core energy. And that's Chiron, the wounded healer, in the depths of the emotions, in the beginning of your very first soul house. Okay, and it's coming, the day after the full moon. So this full moon is definitely going to be bringing in a major swing, because the moon is going to be also coming out of that 12th house into Aries. And then it's going to be hanging out with Chiron, and it's going to be speaking directly to these relationships, not in a positive way. It's bringing up something that needs to be acknowledged, something that needs to be changed, because it's not serving you and you need to notice it. This is what Spirit is making me notice this for. It's also crisscrossing Neptune in Pisces, and it's having a problem with the routines as well, with the Sun still there, Mars still there, and Uranus still there, because they haven't crossed into Libra yet. So it's like, and it's coming across the daily routines, the actual relationships, the karmic healer who isn't able to get the healing made in that first house of the beginning, because you're starting a new cycle again in a poor way. And it's trying to bring up that poor way to make you change. Then you also have Scorpio has Palace in it, which is your universal 8th house of the reincarnation. And it is speaking to you of strategic thinking of the rules within these relationships. She's the warrior goddess, strategic thinking. Make sure you're thinking these relationships through properly. And lastly, let me hit this. You are going to have another T-square on the second half of the month, which is speaking directly with that Capricorn, Saturn, which will be direct, Pluto, which will be going direct on the 3rd of October. So it's definitely pushing on these energies right now. It's not getting along with the North Node and Cancer, the 10th house, the 4th house, the outer community, the inner emotional security, and again with those routines and those relationships. So these relationships are being pushed on for you very much right now. Let's see what the cards have to say. And like I said, I was being told there was a Virgo of significance, or it's just dealing with those relationships. A Pisces, a Scorpio, even possibly a Cancer. I am getting the Four of Scepters, which would be the Four of Wands. This is speaking to you of your legacy, your rulership. Standing in your power, like they said. Don't be pushed around. Mark your territory. And it's in Leo. So there's another fire sign for you. Possibly on the board. I'm sorry I dropped it and I don't know which way it went. You are getting the Wheel of Fortune. Mark your territory, stand your ground. It can be moving in your favor as long as you are moving in your own favor, more or less. This is the change of the fortune. This is the Wheel of Fortune. This is governing new authority that will be changing by you taking authority and being the ruler of your own life. So this is a very positive thing. But I do feel like Spirit is saying there is frustration and there are situations that you are going to be dealing with that you really don't want to. You don't want to speak up, but you're going to kind of have to. It's time to. It's time to not take that shit anymore is what I feel like. Okay, that wasn't even... Seriously, it's not a card. It probably was this one and I just pulled it early. This is according to this deck, it's my Egyptian deck. It is the Youth of Coins, which would be Pentacles. So this is speaking of, I know. Coming into your power, I know. Finding the humanitarian inside of you, your artistic side inside of you, your creative side inside of you, the witty, argumentative side. This is speaking of you, of coming into your power, coming into your fire. You are an Aries sign, and standing your ground and feeling comfortable in doing that. That is how you're going to get this Wheel of Fortune to move in the direction for you, by taking responsibility, becoming the ruler, and your own fire, your own power, got lightning, and creating that wheel to shift for you, not against you. Anything else for Aries? No. Some of you are not understanding what I'm saying when they say don't get pushed back, because I'm being pushed back. So some of them are saying, seriously, you're going to have to stand your ground. I'm being given the 10 of Cups. This is unconventional, affectionate, and emotional. You're going to be in your emotions. You're going to be in your emotions. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on where you take your emotions. Emotions are not good. They are not bad. It depends on where you take them. I say all the time, your vibrations sometimes when I'm pissed off are at the highest vibration. And it's not because being mad is a good thing. It's because when you're mad, you know you're not lying to yourself anymore. This is the Queen of Scepters, speaking of I will energy. This is being a little bit arrogant. This is Queen of Wands, being a little bit arrogant, very high-spirited, ambitious, determined, and unwavering. Unwavering. What have they been saying the whole time? Get in your emotions. Get true. Get depth with yourself. Do not be pushed around. And you push that wheel in the direction you want. Is there anything that they specially need to know that will help them? Anything that they specially need to know that will help them? This is the Hierophant. There is someone there. There's someone there that's meant to help you. You want to pay attention for them. This is the universal law itself coming in this deck. This speaks about the universal law. So this is what I always say, the number 4. The 4 will always have its way. How you will always have 4 directions, 4 elements, 4 times a day. Morning, noon, evening, midnight. The 4 will always have its way. It's the universe. Are you working with that universal energy? This is what the Hierophant is in this deck. Are you working with that universal energy for yourself or against yourself? This is having the inspiration and the religion of understanding the law of that universal energy, source energy. Can you tap in? Because that is what's going to help you get where you need to go to be the materialistic. Tap into the Hierophant, because the Hierophant in this deck is not necessarily a person. This is the source energy, connecting into the source energy